there was a book called Engineering Time by I forgot his name, but he's like a PhD. He used to work at Microsoft. He may be still there, but he um, he gave an example of like no two bits of time are the same. So he, if you have a loading bar, the engineering way of doing it is every 10 seconds, you represent in the loading bar in terms of a percent. Also, say file size, say it's like 10 megabyte. You show like 10% of that in the actual bar. But he says like the first few seconds are actually people are much more patient, and the last few seconds people are really impatient. So what you do instead of showing representing 10 percent for like a megabyte of 10 megabytes, what you do is you show 30% of the bar filled, even though 1 megabyte is loaded, because people be like reassured that it's coming along and it's really quick. And if you leave the last bit like just takes a bit longer or a bit shorter, so so maybe the first bit is like 3 megabytes, for example. Like the way you flip it is basically you hack the time so it feels like it's getting quicker towards the end rather than you just doing exactly the same amount every time it's
throughout
loading.
the entire load.
Yeah, so and it's like when I read that I was like, wow, that's actually quite a clever way of doing it, because it's not so much that you're trying to fool the person, it's just the way we perceive time is down to what's going on around us at that moment. If we're sat down, things feel normal. When we're moving about, things feel slower. And again, maybe it's to do with the adrenaline pumping through our system. And we perceive time differently depending on our anxiousness, our comfortability. So it's not a binary of are we fooling people or being unethical. It's the way people perceive time means that you're basically aiding them in a way to help them make the right decisions, and trying to mitigate the other external factors, which is making them feel like this is taking longer.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great breakdown.
I sound like I sound like such a BS artist right now. No, we're not.
No, I mean it's interesting. I think it's good. I mean, like we're getting really into the psychology here. Like the psychology of waiting is like the kind of the underlying theme of this episode. But this is not my expertise at all. Like I don't have much experience here other than the basics. But I think we got some really good actionable ways to make your loading animations, more human, more effective. So thanks for those tips. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty
anything
dead.
else
I mean,
before we
no, I mean,
before
I
we
just
drop?
say like the Facebook example back in the beginning, blame the system. It's not so much we're saying do that, but it's like make the consideration of how people will perceive things. Is basically the message that we're sending. So yeah,
Brilliant.